this week we're going to do Rene Magritte. I hope you guys liked looking at all his pictures that I put together for you in the slideshow. Here is my notebook that we've been doing projects in, and this time we had a 2-page biography. So I just wanted to show you what I did is I printed that out. I stapled the 2 pages together, and then I glued the back page in to my notebook, and then it works out that way. Okay, so there's an idea for you. So originally I was not going to do Rene Magritte this week if we were meeting together. He wasn't one of the artists I had intended to study. We were going to do Jackson Pollock, and we were hoping we could go outside together, do some splatter painting. We would choose another artist, and hopefully you'd have the materials to complete a different project while you're at home. So I was looking through this book that I've used a few times to reference while preparing for the class, and they do have a page on Rene Magritte in here. And their idea for a project is a drawing project where you draw an object very large on your paper that fills the whole paper, and then around it you draw some mini characters, so that, you know, the object is really unproportional or unrealistic. So here's their example. You see how they have that sneaker, and then they've got these little men as tiny pieces. And so what I'm going to do is type up that project idea, if you enjoy drawing, and I know some of you do, and I'll have that as a PDF with our lesson. So you can pull that up and read these project ideas and do a drawing in your notebook in this style. For example, they have a suggestion of drawing an apple that fills out your paper and then adding little people climbing on the apple like it was a mountain. Or draw a leaf to fill the paper and then add a little spaceship and aliens exploring the leaf and investigating it, and so on. If you like that idea, that PDF is going to be listed right here with the art project area as a PDF, and you can read that over and do that. I was inspired by Magritte's paintings to do a different kind of project. I want us to do a self-portrait of sorts, and don't worry, we're not going to have to draw our face, which I know is the scariest part of a self-portrait. If you look at by Magritte called Son of Man, you can see that he has used that apple there to obscure the face. Now, plenty of people say that that is a self-portrait by Magritte. That suit, that overcoat suit and that bowler hat are really popular in that era that he was alive, and something that he probably wore. And in fact, you do see that bowler hat come out in other pieces of his artwork. So for us, our image or our figure will be wearing clothes that represent ourselves. So hopefully an outfit that you already have, a shirt, PJs, sports uniform, that's representational of you. So that's what you draw there. And then cover your face with an object that's also representational of you. So he has an apple, and if you go with a food idea, maybe it's your favorite food. So you have a piece of pizza covering your face? I don't know. I think it'd be cool to have like a piece of sushi over the front of your face, but if that's not representational of you, don't do that. If you're into sports, you could use the ball, like a football, baseball, soccer ball, basketball, or something else that you use in your sport to cover your face. If you're a reader, you might like to draw a book, and then on the front of the book, a title of one of your favorite books. I decided that I would draw a flower, which is probably no surprise to you. So I'm going to get that part done. I'm going to, in my notebook, draw myself leaving some background for a sky behind me, because I'm going to do a second part to this portrait that's inspired by another Magritte painting. So I'll put myself here, and I'll use, I'll sketch hair that looks like mine and color it in with my skin tone, my hair color, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done with that part. Okay, so I finished my quote-unquote self-portrait, and you can see I did my long hair, and I used a flower in front of my face as my object. And I didn't want to draw my hands, so I decided to draw a flower bouquet here. And you can do something the same way if you, or maybe you can draw yourself a bit larger so it doesn't come down to your hands. In the picture Son of Man, you can see that wall behind the figure. And so, well, I decided I'd draw a fence because I thought that would kind of go with my flower theme. I do want you to leave some background space because for the second part of this drawing, I want us to look at another one of Magritt's paintings, Golconda, and that's an oil painting that he did with these men, again, with some of them with the bowler hats and suits, and they are covering the picture. Now, you can decide if you think that they are raining down or maybe they are floating up in the air. So for our background, I want us to take, using, based on this image, draw some floating objects behind us. So we are going to combine those two ideas from Magritte into one self-portrait for us. I'm going to, again, draw some smaller flowers in the background randomly. For my idea, looking at Golconda, I can kind of... well, in a way I see a grid, the darkest figures that are closest to us, the bigger ones, they're kind of in a line, right? Like 3 by 3, and then in the back you can see like another row. They're a little bit smaller and then smaller and smaller. So I'll try to do something similar with my flowers in the background, and you can decide on what your object that is going to be in the sky, floating, raining, is going to be. But I'll do that part and I'll show you what that looks like. Step 2 is done. I've added the flowers falling in my background. I realized after I added them, I probably should have painted in my blue sky and then painted my flowers over top of my sky. So that is an idea for you to paint. Go ahead and paint your background first and then add your image over it. I just freehanded it. You could use a ruler if you wanted to be more particular about placing them exact, but I just did everything freehand. Now I'm going to color these in with paint. I'm probably going to use gouache. That comes in tubes. If you don't have it, that's fine. You could use craft paint. You could use tempera paint. Acrylic paint, if you have that. You could also use a different medium. Don't let what you have at home as your color stop you from getting it done. So use whatever would be convenient for you, even if you want to do markers, crayons. Just go ahead and add some fun color without worrying too much about being realistic. Remember, this is supposed to be surreal or unreal or not real. So we don't have to be too detailed in our self-portrait. Just remember that you want this to be a resemblance of you somehow. So I'm going to color it in and I'll be right back.